I'm about to get racist. Now I'm racist. It's okay, guys. Just kidding. I'm even more racist.
I've been developing video games in my spare time on and off for around 7 years now. I've made a tower defense game, a rhythm game, I'm working on a roguelike game, and apparently, I've made a racist game.
Did I do that?
Accidentally. Now to be clear, calling the game racist will probably allow the video to get more views, which is kind of the idea, right? So, to be more accurate, the game was linguistically discriminating against its users. I don't know if that makes it any better. Racism sounds more eye-catching, no? Google also calls this form of discrimination glottophobia, linguicism, or languageism. Defined as the unfair treatment of people, which is based on their use of language. I think I need to explain.
I can explain.
The year is 2018. I had recently graduated college with an IT degree.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
And wanted to finally publish a game to the PC, as I had a few small games and apps published to the Android store. So I got to work prototyping in the Unity engine, and after around a year or so of work, the game in question was Frankenstein together.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Let me introduce definitely sneaky, but not sneaky. One of my dear friends, Edgar, convinced me to name my game as I did. Why'd you do it, Edgar? Did you hate me? Was it because I yelled at you for almost ruining death in The Walking Dead?
So,
Look, I apologized.
back to it.
Was it because I was one of the reasons you moved to Tampa?
I'm gonna end up living in Tampa, Florida!
I mean, I suppose I don't blame you there, but I digress. Quickly, the game could be described as a top-down twin-stick shooter, inspired by the Hotline Miami games. Good idea, right?
Wrong!
Now, bilinguicism reared its ugly head as soon as the game was published. Unknown to me at the time, it was causing some users to return my game shortly after opening it. Why, you may ask? Well, let me introduce you to this guy. Yeah, a period. And his partner in crime, a comma. What do these two small, tiny bastards have in common? I'll tell you. A new programmer's worst nightmare. Regionally formatted decimal separation, aka
After eons of time, I, Satan, am reborn to usher in an age of evil and keep away from my daughter, mother.
So me, as an uncultured glottophobe, I had absolutely no idea the wrath I was about to incur when I developed the save and loading system for my levels. You see, I took a very primitive caveman approach to saving and loading levels in Sneaky. I saved the level data in a plain text file.
You what?
Each line of the text file was one level. In order to explain myself fully, we'll have to look at the data for the first level in the game. Alright, just hang in there with me, alright? We're gonna break it down. I know what it looks like. First, this is the level that is generated by this data. So looking at this data, information and objects are separated by the space character, whereas per object data is separated by an underscore. So let's split up the level data by type to make it easier on the eyes. Definitely Sneaky's map structure is tile-based in nature. With that in mind, level data consists of the tile map size, 1x4, per tile state, 0 for down, 1 for up, object types, their XY positions, and other various per object type attributes, and finally the map name. As you can see, it's pretty gross. But this was years ago, okay? I swear I don't do this anymore. I have stepped into the light that is data serialization. Lord have a eternal mercy upon my soul for my past transgressions. And yes, I know I misspelled candle. Don't fuck with me. Now let's go back to our two boys, comma and period. Looking at the level data, we can see a few periods, but no commas. So why am I talking about commas? We'll get back to them in a bit. The periods can be seen in the level object positions, as they were stored as floats. Some, or most of you, probably know where I'm going with this, and some of you, probably Americans, might still be a little confused. Let's dive into it. Since I'm using the Unity engine, the game was coded in C#. So let's take a look at some C# code used to parse the level data, starting with the first two numbers, the level dimensions. As stated above, first, I split all level data by the space character. Since I saved all data as plain text, any numbers in the data had to be converted or parsed from text into their respective data type, int or float. Level dimensions are ints, so we parse. This example would give us a level dimension of 1/4. So far so good, all pretty straightforward. Continuing, let's skip the next few ints as they don't have anything to do with my rampant linguicism. Let's take a look at parsing a level object. I'm going to use the smaller of the two objects for simplicity. Loading this level data in-game consists of splitting per object data by underscore to get its attributes. The first attribute is the object type, an easy parse as it's a string. The next two attributes are the object's x and y position, which are floats.
The site is now experiencing multiple periods, and you could contain the
Hang
glitch.
on. Do you see the issue? We don't even need to parse the y position to explain how terrible this is. Let's consult our AI overlords to get some more info. ChatGPT, how do I parse a float from a string in C#? Float.parse method, yeah, expression float, yeah. Yeah. Wait, what?
Hey, Ham! Look! I'm Picasso!
I don't get it.
You uncultured swine!
As it turns out, some languages swap the comma and period separators for the decimal and thousandth place. For example, in American English, the number 1.000 translates to 1. But in a lot of other countries, let's take Germany for instance, 1.000 would translate to 1000. Do you see what's happening now? Because I sure didn't. Now back to my object's positional parsing. In this case, the object's x position, in plain text, is -41.69. If you have your computer's numerical formatting set to US English, the above code parses this data to -41.69, which is the object's correct x position. But if you were to have your computer's numerical formatting set to German, for instance, the code would parse the number as -41,69, which would be interpreted by the computer as -4,169. This sets the parsed object's x and y position to 100 times its intended value. You can imagine how this affected the loading of map objects. The maps are basically just exploded outwards. Now to some of you, this seems obvious, and makes me look kinda dumb. I accept that, and partly embrace it. But the thing is, the incorrect float parsing code seen above will not throw an error. The code simply does what it's told. So when users started to report that the first level loaded was empty and they couldn't progress, I was confused. No errors, but blank screens. It works on some computers, but not others. Most importantly, it worked fine on my computer. So what's going on, I said. Luckily for me, a user that was helping me troubleshoot the game happened to have two computers, one set to US formatting and the other to German. They must have had a programming background as they plainly spelled out how I fucked up. I mean, they must have had a programming background as they spelled out how I had become so languageist. Let's fix the code. Just slap a second parameter in that parse function, and voila. This tells the code that -41.69 will always parse the -41.69, no matter what formatting the computer's set to.
On your man, homie. Ah, I tried to sneak through the door, man. Can't make it. Can't make it. The shit's stuck. Out of my way, son! Door stuck!
Jumping to present day, Deathly Sneaky is a different beast than it was in 2019 when it came out. I've continued to push out periodic updates throughout the years. Currently, it has local co-op, bullet time, loadout creation, and a level editor with Steam Workshop integration. It can even run on non-American computers, which is pretty neat. In the end, I inadvertently published a game that discriminated against anyone that had a different decimal separation format than me. It caused a few negative reviews, most of which have been changed. Most. Please change. Please change the review. Please change the review. Please change the review. And also resulted in a good deal of returns that probably hurt my game's visibility. This issue could have been avoided by practicing proper programming and game development practices such as reading documentation fully, testing your game on a variety of devices, being cultured. So don't be like me, the rookie, uncultured glottophobe who didn't know his commas from his decimals, and culture yourself. Invariantly.